Hi everyone, this is Brandon, and I'm just going to give a short tutorial on how to copy the DSPG template from the Young Scholars repo. So on your screen, you'll be able to see that I've already set up a Ravana. I've made my way to the local repository. This is supposed to be a surrogate for your project repo. So in terms of the material that you've produced over the summer already, this is here in your repo. You have your data, your functions, your output, your source file, all of your code is in here, and you don't want to mess up anything. But you want to make sure that you can get your website, the website template in there without any issues. Here's how you do it. First, you go to the Young Scholars program site, and you'll go ahead and look for the project, the DSPG website template. Okay, you're gonna copy that or clone that repository by going here and bringing that new project in. Essentially what that does is clone in all of the materials that we have for that website without affecting your existing repository. Now, the next step is to essentially just move these folders over, move all the content of that website over. Now, a couple caveats before we get started. First and foremost, we're not going to be using this this folder again. I don't want you pushing back because that will ruin the template. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to eventually delete this folder. That said, there are some things that we want to get out of there first. The things that we don't really care about, first and foremost, are the public and the docs folders. As a reminder for those of you who are at the training, the docs folder is imperative you're going to deploy the site through GitHub Pages. The public folder is useful if you're going to send out your website through Netlify. Both of these will be reproduced when you serve your site locally. So you want to go ahead and delete those for now. There's no point in copying them over to a repo that you're not going to be using them. Unfortunately, on Ravana, we can't move all these files and folders all at once. So we're going to have to go through the arduous process of just moving all of them over to our repo project. So you just move them in here. Okay, you see that that folder is completely empty now. And if you want, you can actually just go back here so you don't mess up the template, delete that existing template, and then come to your repo project. Now you'll see that all of that content that was over here or it was over in the DSPG template is now over in your local repository. You can go ahead and bring that up. Okay, now that that's up and you're kind of in this project, you'll note that you have all the content that you want, all the files and the folders. If you clicked on your source or your output, the data functions, all of that was there before, completely unaffected now. It won't change in any way. What you want to do now is just go ahead and bring up the local site that you just copied over, and you can do that by going to library Blogdown and Blogdown serve site. And you'll see here that the website is now current. Okay, so again, you'll need to go ahead and make these changes to the overview, data, and methods. You can, again, do that using the config file. That will alter your main page here, home. You can update that, for instance, if you're doing your project, make that slight update here. See that that renders there. In addition, you'll also adjust content here. Markdown files, remember, don't need any additional HTML. Just make changes to your Markdown files. In terms of producing content, you'll make those here in your R Markdown files, make all those updates. And each time you choose to serve site, it will render new HTML documents that will be the basis of your site for those posts. And then once you've made all of those updates, you can kind of go back to this main file And then you can go to your console down here, stop your server, and you're set. Okay, now one thing just to mention here that if you are looking to deploy this website through DSPG pages, which is what we want to do in the case of these project sites, all we really need is this docs folder. So that was updated using this publish direct to docs, produces the docs file. You note that we don't have a public folder, but that's fine. That's only for Netlify. We have our docs folder here, so hopefully this will deploy through GitHub pages. What we'll need to do now is come back up here to Git. We'll commit all of our files, stage them, and push. Okay, now the next step is to go back to the DSPG Young Scholars and see that the repo has been updated, push materials there. One thing you'll also notice is that this particular repo is private. So there's gonna have to be some updates that we make here. We'll click on settings. Remember what we're trying to look for is the GitHub pages down here. See that this is currently unavailable because the repository is private. You can change that if needed, if yours is not. You can update that and make it public. Just copy in this material here. Say that you understand. That makes it public. And then from there, you'll just deploy to the docs branch. Scroll down, and this is blue. After you wait about 2 or 3 minutes, it'll turn to green, and you should have your website current with all the updates made. Again, you likely need to go back and update additional content, but in this scenario, we're going to pretend that's already done. Okay, so now you click on this, your project has been updated. All the content that you made changes to should be current, and you should be set to go. Now, any additional changes that you'll make should be fine. Just remember that any changes that you make in terms of updates on your website have to be made in the content folder, either at the markdown level at the top of the content folder, or in these R markdown files here in the findings folder. As long as you make them and then update that by clicking or by running Blogdown serve site, everything should update, and then you'll stop the server. That's absolutely necessary. And after you do that, just rinse, cycle, repeat, go ahead and push your materials to GitHub. All of that should update automatically and your website should stay current as long as you keep the structure in place. Okay, thank you very much. Hope this is helpful.